Listen up, brother. We're past the point of polite conversation when it comes to serious hardware. You see these polymer pop guns everyone's flashing around? Junk. They'll be useless when the real pressure hits. We're staring down the barrel of regulations coming in 2026 that'll choke your right to own anything meaningful. If you haven't dug into the engineering that keeps you alive at a distance, you're already behind. I've spent years in the cold calculating windage when a small mistake means catastrophic failure. The guns we're talking about today aren't for bragging at the range. They are physics pushed to the limit. Massive kinetic energy and ballistics that mock gravity. This isn't for the weekend hobbyist. This is an autopsy of the apex predators of long-range suppression. We're pulling the guts out of these machines to see why they cost what they cost and why the bureaucrats fear them. If you have the means, you need to secure one of these assets before they make it illegal to even look at one. Forget the video game stuff. Reality is about to deliver a harsh lesson. Accuracy International AWM. This British engineering marvel didn't just become a tool. It became a legend. But don't let the pop culture hype fool you about its clinical deadliness. We're looking at the AWM. The M stands for Magnum, and that's where the weak ones check out. This isn't some bolt-action knockabout. This thing was forged from the necessity of operating where steel cracks and the oil freezes solid, designed to function perfectly down to 40 degrees below zero. Years ago, this rifle brought the concept of an aluminum chassis to the table long before the rest of the industry caught up with that trend. The action is permanently bedded, glued and bolted, to the chassis. That eliminates vibration variation, creating a harmonic consistency most modern rifles only dream about achieving. The heart of this beast cycles serious medicine, like the .300 Winchester Magnum or the truly devastating .338 Lapua Magnum. When you load that .338, you aren't just shooting. You are sending a projectile that stays supersonic way past 1,000 meters, carrying enough punch to rip through level 4 body armor at distances where a .308 drops like a sack of rocks. Mechanically, the AWM bolt is a masterclass in raw reliability. It features deep, longitudinal grooves specifically designed to slice through ice and spit out debris, ensuring you can cycle that bolt even if the rifle has been buried in mud or snow for days. This isn't some show pony. It's a world-ending survival tool. Now, owning the AWM means understanding its weight. It's long, 1,270 millimeters, and uses a detachable box magazine holding 5 rounds, so don't plan on sneaking around tight corners with it. You absolutely must marry this rifle to top-shelf optics, like a Schmid and Bender. Anything less is an insult to the match-grade stainless steel barrel engineering. The entry ticket is steep, hovering around $12,000. That sounds obscene to the uninitiated, but you're buying a platform proven in every major conflict for the last 30 years. If you buy this, you're buying certainty. Failure will never be the weapon's fault. It'll be yours alone. While the AWM is the pinnacle of British cold-weather engineering, the next system tackles the headache of needing long-range performance in a highly mobile package. Deserttech SRS. When the theater of operations demands you move fast, but the job still requires long-range ballistics, you run into a geometric problem most manufacturers choke on. Enter the Deserttech SRS, a bizarre American design anomaly that splits the elite shooter community right down the middle. By running a bullpup configuration, shoving the entire action and trigger assembly behind the trigger group, the SRS somehow manages to keep a full-length match-grade barrel in a package barely 952.5 millimeters long. For the operator who has to deploy out of a civilian truck or move through thick brush without the barrel acting like a radio antenna, this compactness is a tactical advantage worth its weight in gold. But what truly separates this design is its almost schizophrenic modularity. The ability to swap barrels and bolts in under 60 seconds lets the shooter jump from the budget-friendly .308 for high-volume practice right into the punishing .338 Lapua Magnum for surgical strikes past 1,000 meters. This solves a massive logistical headache. You keep the same trigger, the same stock, and the same glass, but you tune the lethality to the immediate situation. However, there's a tax on this flexibility. Triggers on bullpup designs are notoriously awful because of the transfer rod mechanism, and while Deserttech engineered theirs to an acceptable level, it'll never have the crispness of a traditional bolt gun. The high-impact polymer and aluminum chassis absorbs recoil uniquely, directing the force straight back, which reduces muzzle rise but transfers more violence directly into the shooter's shoulder. It weighs 5 kilograms and is deceptively dense. For about $500 base price, you get a platform that replaces 3 separate rifles. But watch yourself. Cycling the bolt behind your ear demands muscle memory adaptation that many purists find uncomfortable and unnatural. It's a tool for the pragmatic, not the sentimental traditionalist. The SRS trades pure trigger feel for unmatched compactness. Next, we're ditching cutting-edge ergonomics for pure iron-willed Soviet simplicity, where reliability trumps refinement every damn time. Dragunov SVD. Now we're going to make the Western precision purists mad. The Soviet Dragunov SVD is not a sniper rifle in the modern sense, and judging it by those standards means you fundamentally miss its genius. Born in the 1960s, this isn't a piece of bench rest jewelry. It's a designated marksman rifle, built to extend the lethal reach of the infantry squad where the AK-47 runs out of steam. Its design philosophy is absolute ruggedness over absolute precision. It runs the 7.62x39 cartridge, an old but ballistically competent round that's been dropping enemies of the motherland for decades. The internal mechanism of the SVD is fascinating for its brutal simplicity. It uses a short-stroke gas piston system isolated from the bolt carrier, which reduces moving mass during firing and allows for faster sight recovery than an AK-style long-stroke system. However, its thin barrel is its Achilles heel. It heats up fast, and as that temperature climbs, the point of impact drifts vertically, a phenomenon called barrel whip. It ain't made for shooting 5-round groups into a dime. It's made to smack a human silhouette at 800 meters, again and again, using corrosive ammo pulled from a rusty can. Logistically, the SVD is the king of austerity. Its standard scope, the PSO-1, is an analog marvel with a stadia reticle that lets you estimate range based on an average man's height instantly. No batteries, no lasers needed. While the Western market has inflated its price above $1,000 due to import scarcity, it remains one of the most reliable platforms worldwide. When the apocalypse hits and you lack access to fine oils or armorer's tools, the SVD will keep barking while your $10,000 precision rifles gum up with the first grain of sand. The SVD is the definition of good enough under duress. While the Soviet design relies on simple mechanics to survive the dirt, the next rifle is pure mechanical overkill, designed not just to hit targets, but to vaporize them. Barrett M82. We are now entering heavy machinery territory, and it's impossible to have this talk without naming the titan that redefined anti-material, the Barrett M82. Let's blow up a myth right now. This rifle is not for surgical precision. If you're chasing 1-centimeter groups at 1,000 meters, look elsewhere. The M82 is an instrument of raw force, a semi-automatic platform chambered for the monstrous 50 BMG, or 12.7 by 99 millimeters. Ronnie Barrett engineered this thing in a garage not to compete at Wimbledon, but to stop armored vehicles dead in their tracks. Its short recoil operation is what makes it unique, and inherently less accurate. The barrel literally moves backward inside the receiver to soak up the violence of the shot and cycle that massive bolt. That barrel movement means it never returns to the exact same position, shot after shot, resulting in accuracy closer to 3 minutes of angle. But when you are throwing a bullet the size of a human finger that can rip an engine block clean out, pinpoint accuracy becomes secondary. Logistically, the M82 is a beast to haul. It weighs 14 kilograms and measures 1 meter and 40 centimeters long. Moving it is physical punishment. The arrow-shaped muzzle brake is iconic for a reason. It throws gas sideways and backward with such ferocity it can cause mild concussions to nearby observers and kick up a dust cloud that gives away your position for miles. Maintaining this brute requires constant attention to the recoil springs and cleaning that muzzle brake, as carbon buildup in a system this powerful can weld parts together if you get lazy. For $12,000, you aren't buying subtlety. You are buying the capacity to deny access to vehicles and destroy critical infrastructure from a mile away. It's a sledgehammer in a world of precision screwdrivers, and its psychological presence on the battlefield is as lethal as its projectile. The M82 is about overwhelming kinetic energy, but the next rifle takes the same caliber and slaps a precision brain onto it, demanding semi-auto speed with bolt gun consistency. Winchester Model 70. Let's turn the page and talk about the rifles that actually put meat on the table. We kick this section off with a genuine legend, the Winchester Model 70. This rifle has been earning respect since 1935. It stood shoulder to shoulder with the Remington Model 700, and a lot of old-timers still call this the rifleman's rifle. Built by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, the Model 70 carried forward a legacy stretching back to the Model 1873, the gun that won the West, and the Model 1894 lever action. Durability and rock-solid reliability have always been Winchester's calling card, and the 70 kept that honest. Early versions borrowed heavily from the Mauser action. That meant true controlled round feed and a rugged claw extractor, features hunters valued for dependable cycling out in the field when you're up to your ankles in icy water. But it wasn't just about function. The walnut stock carried sharp checkering and clean lines that gave the rifle a classic look as sharp as its performance. After the Second World War, as folks got back to work and bought land, the Model 70 became the go-to for a new generation of sportsmen. Winchester kept it alive by offering it in dozens of chamberings, and they even rolled it out in 6.5 Creedmoor in 2018, proving the design can still bend to modern demand. Accuracy is rock solid. The action and barrel maintain consistency even after long sessions. You shoot 1,000 rounds through a Model 70, and it'll hold 0. This is a rifle that earned its spot in history and still stands tall for folks who want tradition married to performance, not tactical fluff. The Model 70 represents history and craftsmanship that's getting rarer by the year. While it's a classic bolt gun, the next entry is for the guy who needs reliability on a budget, proving you don't need a second mortgage to get a safe shooter. Ruger American Rifle. Now let's talk modern affordability done right. The Ruger American Rifle. Introduced in 2011, this series proved fast that Ruger could mass-produce a budget-friendly bolt gun without tossing accuracy or reliability in the trash bin. These rifles are light, boys. They're easy to pack deep into the woods, and they deliver performance that kicks the dirt of rifles twice their price. Ruger built them smart. They use synthetic stocks that laugh at abuse, cold hammer-forged barrels that put tight groups downrange, and their integral bedding block system keeps the action locked down for repeatable accuracy. The barrels are free-floated, and the triggers are fully user-adjustable. That means you can dial in your pull weight exactly how you like it. Chamberings cover everything from the classic 30-06 Springfield right up to the versatile 223 Remington. Whether you're busting deer in thick timber or calling coyotes on open ground, there's a Ruger American setup ready for the task. And here's where it gets downright crazy. The street price often sits right around $400. For that kind of money, you expect bare-bones junk. Instead, Ruger hands you a feature set that challenges rifles nearly double the cost. That's why the Ruger American has carved out such a strong following among hunters who need dependable accuracy without emptying the savings account. The Ruger American is the definition of a smart buy in today's market. While it's light and affordable, the next rifle we examine is the undisputed workhorse of the American shooting scene. A rifle so common you could find parts in a junkyard if things went sideways. Remington Model 700. You can't talk about hunting rifles without dragging up the Remington Model 700. This bolt gun has been putting venison in the freezer and steel on target since 1962. The ergonomics are smooth, the accuracy is trusted, and its reputation stretches way past the deer stand. To date, Remington has shipped over 5 million Model 700s across more than 900 different variants. That kind of track record screams consistency and demand. Mechanically, it's push feed. The bolt shoves the round straight into the chamber, and it's backed by Remington's famous 3 rings of steel. That system locks the cartridge down with 3 layers of protection. First, a steel ring around the bolt face. Second, a ring at the barrel's breech. And third, the forward receiver ring. The end result is a secure, safe action that keeps the pressure bottled up and delivers repeatable accuracy shot after shot. This ain't just a deer rifle either. Back in the 1980s, the U.S. Army adopted the Model 700 as the foundation for the M24 sniper weapon system. By 2010, That platform was upgraded to the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle. The Army swapped the action from .308 Winchester to .300 Winchester Magnum with zero fuss. That upgrade alone proves how rugged that receiver really is. For us civilians, that translates to a rifle action that can handle precision long-range builds just as easily as it handles tagging a whitetail. It's safe, accurate, and time-tested. That's why the Model 700 remains one of the most respected bolt guns on the market. Even with Remington's current management messing up the reputation, the Model 700 is the common denominator for serious bolt-action builds. Now, moving from the pull of the bolt to the push of gas, our final rifle proves that semi-automatic rifles can still carry real hunting heritage. Browning Bar. Let's switch gears and talk about something semi-automatic, the Browning Bar. And no, we aren't talking about the full-auto warhorse that stormed Europe in the Second World War, though the lineage is certainly there. The original Browning automatic rifle hit the battlefield in 1918. It was chambered in .30-06, ran full auto, and served as the squad automatic weapon for American forces. That heritage sets the stage for what became the sporting version we use today. The modern Browning Bar is a semi-automatic hunting rifle. It feeds from a detachable magazine holding 3 or 4 rounds, depending on the chambering. It's chambered in versatile hunting cartridges, 7mm, .308 Winchester, .243 Winchester, and for those chasing heavier beasts, the Safari variant comes chambered in .338 Winchester Magnum. That last one is tailor-made for elk, moose, and big bear country. One of the biggest selling points of the bar is its handling. Despite the power it can chamber, the rifle stays relatively light. A .338 bar comes in just over 8 pounds. That's barely a pound heavier than Browning's own bolt gun in the same caliber. Recoil is tamed too, manageable enough that follow-up shots are quick and accurate. That balance of power, weight, and control is why hunters worldwide trust the bar for mid-sized and big game hunting. From its wartime DNA to its modern sporting role, the Browning Bar proves a semi-auto can deliver both history and high performance in the field. And that wraps up our look at the hunting rifles that actually matter. These are tools, not plastic toys designed by marketing departments. They are proven, reliable extensions of the will of the man behind the trigger. Bottom line, boys, do you trust the pure, unadulterated mechanical lockup of the Model 70's controlled feed? Or do you prefer the sheer, affordable, adjustable simplicity of the Ruger American Action? Tell me which one you're grabbing when the freezers are empty. Subscribe if you want more non-nonsense analysis that cuts through the marketing garbage. Stay alert.